Welcome, everybody, to this June meeting of the online teaching. And we have some of our family of light from around the world with us today. And we're going to talk and share about the roles of women and men at this time, using the teachings of the grandmothers and the net of light as we communicate about this thorny issue that has caused so much pain on so many levels as we are transitioning into a new way of being with one another here on earth. But before we do that, let's go in together and magnify the presence of the net of light so that everything we do together, we do to the utmost degree and for the utmost good possible. So just relax, let your chair, the couch or the floor hold you, and rest where you are. Our hearts are so accustomed to connecting now with the divine and with one another through the divine, that automatically, as soon as we think of it, we move into union with the net of light. We move into union with the one love that holds all life in the universe. And instantly we begin to breathe in the net of light, and the net of light begins to breathe us in. And we're receiving and receiving all good. And as that happens, it's so magnificent because of the net of light. As we breathe that in, all beings can breathe that in, because everything that lives is part of the radiant net of light. And our affirming our connection with it allows everything, every person, every animal, every living thing to connect with the net of light. And because there's no limit according to time or space with this work, it goes far back into what we think of as the past, healing much of the pain of the past by this infusion of love and communion, and goes far into the future, what we think of as the future as well, blessing and affirming all beings who will come into life here on earth. So there is this breathing oneness of love, of which you are part and I am part. And let yourself now just receive this inflow of endless good that comes to you. And know that effortlessly as you breathe out, all this good is going wherever it is most needed. You don't even have to think of it. You don't have to earmark it. This is for New York City. This is for Montenegro. You don't have to do that. You just breathe and enjoy and know that by your receiving and your eagerness to give, it all takes place. It's seamless. We are in union in our hearts at all times. Our minds may get scattered and connected and disconnected. That'll go away. Inwardly at all times, we are in the flow of the one love. So just notice how your body feels right now as you receive more and more good effortlessly. It's your birthright. The grandmothers say, contrary to what you've been taught, you were not born to suffer. You were born to love and give love. So let yourself take in this love now. And because we're doing this together, what you're able to receive is even greater. And the grandmothers are holding you now, tenderly holding you, and they are singing to you. I have terrific allergies now, so my voice is kind of cracky, but they're going to sing through my voice because it's here. Oh, how we love you. 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 And when the grandmothers say that, they mean it. So let yourself receive now. And as we spend time together, remind yourself every now and then, oh, I can receive this too. I can open to this also. So with us today, we have Christine, who's made herself wake up in the middle of the night in Australia so she can be with us. Christine, you want to say hi? Unmute yourself. Everybody.
I might need a little more guidance today. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm not at my brightest, but I can see that everyone else is bright, and so it's wonderful to be with you.
Thanks. We're glad. We're really grateful that you got up and are here with us. And then we have Paul with us. You want to say hi, Paul?
Yes, good morning, everyone. I bring tidings of gladness and joy and fun here from Maui, Hawaii.
Oh, we wish we were
7 a.m. here.
Okay, and Mary, you have to unmute yourself, Mary.
There we go. I was doing a mime thing. Hi, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here as always with all the light workers all over the world.
Thank you, Mary. Glad you're here. And Shikola, you want to say hello?
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm Shikeola. And I wish I was in Hawaii too. So I guess I'm bringing the brightness with the color of the shirt, a bit of orange.
Good. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is I'm going to read a passage. I've picked out two. One from the grandmother's first book, A Call to Power, The Grandmothers Speak. And then another passage from their fourth book, Return of the Mother, Return to Love. These passages have to do with the relationships between male and female at this time on Earth, which is a time we have not experienced maybe ever, but certainly not for thousands of years. So what I'm going to do is read one little part, and then I'd like to throw it open to all of us who are gathered here to share, how this shows up in your life or how you relate to that. And then we'll see how we go. And then hopefully we'll get to the second passage as well. So this from the first book is on page 122. And the grandmothers say, this work with us is about receiving. It is about being receptive. All need to receive, men and women, plants and animals. Male Native American teachers know this. Men who teach Buddhism, Eastern thought, and meditation know this. And these men will help others. Men don't need our empowerment, they say. They need the cloak of comfort. Masculine power is of another kind. Male power is equally valid. It is good, but it is of another kind. It is women who have not known power. Our empowerment would not help men. The power of masculine energy is different from what we offer, they said. We comfort and steady men, but masculine power is not what this work is about. There is other work coming in for men, important work, but not this work. The energies of masculine and feminine must be respected for their differences. They are designed to be different. This is their purpose. They are not the same, nor should they be. This work is specific. Although it is primarily for women, all will benefit from it. I'll stop there. I mean, they go on, but I'll stop there. So, what to you, that was a lot, but what resonated or confused you or worried you or spoke to you in what I just read from the first book, A Call to Power?
The first thing that really resonated with me on that short passage you just read, Sharon, is respecting the differences. I think that's paramount, and approaching how we use the cloak of comfort, and how the men and women have two different things to offer. Yeah. And I'm going through a similar situation right now. So this is perfect, really perfect.
Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
The thing that caught my attention is how it is women who have not known power. And because I come from a different background, I'm originally from West Africa. And I know that when I moved in to the United States, is one of the first things that I noticed, right? The dynamics are just different between men and women relate. And for the years, as I have been observing and it's my new country, it's the new culture, do the best to understand your new environment. I am seeing how here, in our desire to be empowered, in our desire to say, you know what, as women, we can do as much as men, we are taking that empowerment or feminine power a bit in the wrong direction. And so I am not surprised when they say it's women who have not known power, because here we are seeing the power as just one kind of power, which is not true. Men have the power in their own way, and we women have our power in a different way. And it is knowing that and playing the dance that can bring the harmony. But because here as women, we are not educated as what's really the power of the woman. It's not being submissive, or even when it appears that you are being submissive, you are not being submissive if you understand who you are, what you are, and what's the role that you're actually playing. So it's a work that we all have to do. We have to keep, because I took on that, right? Because you come from somewhere else, you are in a different country, you want to learn to be how people are in that country. So you think that's the way to go until you realize that no, something is off. And so, and now doing the full circle back and saying, no, there was something that I knew in me before that is right. And so maybe that becomes part of what I'm supposed to be doing here, right? Teaching this way that I knew to now my sisters and the women here now. So that is the kind of world I am in right now.
Thank you, Chikayola. Thank you.
And I think, Shikela, you bring up a really interesting point. We who live in various countries come from different cultures, and therefore our conditioning is a little different about our relationship male to female, men to women. And I've found that as I have stepped more into my power, I've become a lot less verbal. I've become more steady. And I also realized that the best thing that we can do for one another, because leading groups of women, we have to learn to communicate with women from that place of the feminine principle. And so when we're communicating with men, we also need to come from that place of feminine principle, that is holding those who are confused or are wanting to communicate, don't know how. We just hold them in that love. And as again you were saying, Chicola, it's like you don't have to do anything. You don't have to make it happen. We don't need to be like men at all. We can't. Anyway, we can't. But it's a beautiful process that we're going through, and I'm really interested to hear what Paul has to say.
Okay. Thank you. Not sure what I'm going to say exactly. There's so much. The words that resonated with me right away is receptivity. That is what, yeah, that is really important to me, to have the receptivity to the grandmothers within, is to have the receptivity that I feel supported and comforted by all of you women to step out and be a more complete person with masculine and feminine energy, and to
Oh, you're frozen. Yeah. Paul, you're not coming in. I'm gonna move on, and then hopefully you'll be able to come in, because you're frozen right now. Yeah, no, it's just it's not working, Paul. Perhaps try turning it off and try coming back in again. Go offline and then come back in, because we're not able to hear you, and I'm so sorry. But for now, just go leave Zoom. Yeah, good, and then come back. There was another little part of that thing that I wanted to read to you, this excerpt on 122. The grandmothers say, Paul, you're still frozen. The grandmothers say that, so do I. But besides that, the grandmothers say, our empowerment makes a woman more deeply, more truly feminine, they said. And this would not do for men. And they burst into laughter. A misunderstanding of power lies behind your question, they said. And this is kind of what Chicola was alluding to. It is the Yang concept of power over and power in order to that is behind your question. Yin is not like that. Yin is the power of the deeply feminine. It is soft and hard at the same time. It is difficult to describe. I looked at the grandmothers when they said this, and as they sat before me, they were so graceful and lovely. And I said, that's why you're dressed the way you are today. Beautiful, feminine, and flowing. They nodded, yes. And that's why you showed me that other form, the one that looked like a squared off column. That was male energy, wasn't it? I asked. That's why it looks so different from you. So that's a bit more of them speaking of the difference between the essence of yin, which is this flowing, moving energy, embracing and holding, and the energy of yang, which is this straight ahead, go forward, that more stiff, regulated energy that moves in one direction at a time, the masculine energy. Now, Paul, I'd like to go back to you if we can get you, if you aren't fading out. So, because you were just starting to speak before.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, what I was trying to say is receptivity to the divine within and to my female energy as well as my male energy, to bring those together in a way to operate differently in a culture in which I'm acculturated to by patriarchy to operate, to look a certain way. That's part of why I'm experimenting with coloring my hair purple, because patriarchy says, oh no, that's not masculine, that's not proper. And yet I want to be more in balance. So I'm having fun with it.
Good, good. We're having fun looking at you too. I like the look. I'm starting to think maybe I'll do a little something up here.
Really? I wasn't sure if it was the video that was producing the purple or it was your hair. It's fabulous. I really like it. I haven't seen that before.
Oh yeah, it's purple.
Right.
Definitely.
I want to read you guys one other little thing, and then I'm done with the reading. This is from the fourth book, Return of the Mother, Return to Love. And here this is from a man in Holland who's speaking, and he's talking about his own experience. He says, this is what I experienced at the gathering, the grandmother's gathering last weekend. It was a warm, cosmic yin bath given by the women. It was a joy to be in it. And I felt the melting in me start from the very beginning of the weekend and then go on and on. In that melting and softening process, I felt a new manhood arise in me, as I also felt at the gathering in 2011. I felt myself lining up, firm, steady, fearless, and gentle, with an open heart. As the grandmothers showed me, we men need the women to help us melt so our true male nature can arise again. At that first gathering, my role as a man was not perfectly clear to me yet, but now it is. We simply have to surrender to the feminine yin energy. That might be frightening for some men, but the gift we get back is enormous. I want to mention, he does not mean that he's surrendering his personality. He's just saying he wants to learn about the yin energy within him, the feminine energy within him. We get back our true masculine energy as it is meant to be. Without women, we may stay stuck in the old pattern of yang energy that's always pushing forward on its own. I experienced this weekend that as soon as I was in contact with that true male energy, which stands on its own in that yin bath, those are his quotes, I did not feel less or more than the women, but I felt together with them. Each of us was playing our role as we were meant to. Each of us was serving the whole. Thank you, women. Thank you, grandmothers, for this great gift. And special thanks to my wife for starting a group with me so that we can do something together for men and women in this world. So that's his response. What do you hear in that?
It feels so beautiful to hear those words coming from this man who has taken the time, the effort, and the energy to really let this teaching move in him, and obviously exampled by his wife. So in that relationship, that yin energy has held him until he could surrender, as he says, perhaps surrender those strong ideas of patriarchal conditioning, because men can still be strong and beautiful without being patriarchal or misogynistic or whatever. And I think it's at the end of that part where you were reading first, Sharon, because I looked up through some of the books what the grandmothers were saying from A Call to Power on page 121. I think it's at the end of that, it says, the grandmothers say, Yang needs yin for peace and yin needs yang for change. And when we accept that that's the exchange that we have, it's easy. But we both have to be in the same place, I guess, for that to eventually happen. Meanwhile, we hold as women.
Thank you.
Christine, can you say that again? That was a really important passage to me.
Yeah, it's yang needs yin for peace, and yin needs yang for change.
Wow, that's great. That passage just brought up so much sentimentality for me. I'm close to tears. It's just a beautiful working together with two different energies like that. Oh my gosh. I would like to see that be pervasive, among us all. And I do see the role of yin to hold and let that opportunity happen.
I think it's in that same part of the reading where the grandmothers bring to our attention the symbol that we know of yin and yang, this circle with the black and the white. And they say that it's not static, it's continually moving. It's a flow. And when we consider that all of us have within us both yin and yang, we are continually flowing with that energy from yin to yang. And then to each other between women and men. And when we look at the world and we see what is occurring and decisions that have been made and will continue to be made probably by men from a very yang position, we can see things gradually changing. We can see more collaboration and compromising in negotiations, for instance, as we've seen recently. And I expect that we will have more of that. I fully expect that we will have more of that.
Christine, as you were talking, the image that just came up for me, it was the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau. And we can see from a bit of the stories that I write, through his wife, we see this man who is very balanced, steady, in talking about really harmonizing the yin and the yang, right? So what you said is very beautiful. The yin and the yang is always moving, And one of the things that through learning, we sometimes don't pay attention to is that in the yin, you do have the yang circle, and in the yang, you do have the yin circle. And so we are in each other. Those energies are in each other. That's number one. Number two is in a circle. So which means we have to be working together to bring that harmony. And that circle, the way it keeps moving, right? So sometimes the yin will be leading the dance, and sometimes yang will be leading the dance. And so from what I've read from Justin Trudeau is really that somehow his wife found a way to allow this man to come into his power in a way that he's interested so much more. Because from the articles read, is like she was the one, doing yoga, and somehow she brought him to do yoga. And so it connects to that little passage that Sharon just read about that man who says, when we receive love, and that love is not being a love of power over, right? Because if man is feeling threatened by a woman trying to control, then the reaction is going to be different versus receptivity. If the love is just given with a greater explanation, a greater an amplification of what really love is going to do if you allow that. And what the men described in the book is really that, right? They melt, they see that, oh, I am being seen, so they can stand in their own power and feel that they have that love behind them to go out in the world and do what they can do the best possible way. One example that for me I see is just
I have to stop you for now, because there's a strong need for us to feel this. So take a moment. You brought it up. You're exactly right. So let's take that as a springboard inside. Open to in your own heart, each of us, to the presence of yin, first of all, within you, the great mother, the one who holds all life and loves, and let yourself now sink into that and be held in that space of yin. So all of this that we've been talking about begins to filter into your very cells and your breath, and it begins to come home what it is to be held and loved and rocked and filled, because that's what yin does. It heals and it makes whole. And then in that place also lives the energy of yang, this very energy that when it is in balance and held by yin, goes out into the world and helps, serves the family of life. You have this core of strength and goodness and ability to act. Ask yourself to open now to this as well, so that you begin to realize who you are, the greatness of your being. You are the holder, you are the held, you are the one who is cared for, you are the one who cares for. You are all of this and more, and more and more. But for now, just say yes to experiencing the truth inside you, the reservoir of goodness and power in you, yin and yang, harmoniously flowing in you and flowing from you. Yeah. It's real. And our taking this time makes it real. Oh, good. Thank you And Paul, since you are so outnumbered by all of us females, is there anything else you want to add to this?
Yeah, yes, I would. Thank you. And I feel that being held in love, so that I may love. I am the beloved called to be love. So that's where I go back to the receptivity to be held by the female energy so that I can take action to serve the grandmothers, to serve humanity, to allow women to lead me rather than for me to lead them. They lead me in ways of compassion for myself and for others.
How does that feel, Paul? How does it feel for you to be in that state?
It like the man said in the passage, it's like taking a risk to let go and be held, and the benefits of that are so tremendous for me, that it makes me want to be that more.
Mm-hmm. So, ladies, notice how you feel now, being together as we are and hearing this from Paul. How does that resonate for you, Mary?
You know, I feel so hopeful and just so hopeful that this can happen, that especially, you know, Paul having experienced this and understanding how I can support other men in this fashion. So hopeful.
Shikola, how do you feel listening to him?
I feel good. I feel that, you know, it's like once we understand each other, then there is just a beautiful moment created, because he feels good. He say he feels the benefits of it. So it just makes the woman that I am feeling just kind of rested in myself. Right? When you are rested in yourself, there is nothing to prove. And so it's a beautiful relationship. It's a beautiful space. And because there is this resting, maybe wings come out, you know, without, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's
I
not
do,
something.
and I see it in you right now.
Yes.
I see this kind of flowering in you as in response to Paul's speech. Christine, how do you resonate with your brother, Paul?
Well, what I feel is Paul's us love and how that can lift us up. And I feel uplifted, and I celebrate with you, Paul, purple hair and beautiful receptivity, because that's the feminine principle, to be receptive.
And so I have to ask again,
Yes.
to do full round robin here. Now you've just heard from these three women. How about what you just said affected them? Now, how do you feel, Paul?
Wow. I feel lifted up even further. I mean, yeah, I think you left me up, I lift you up. I just feel, again, I feel even more supported. And then that allows me to be more supportive. Yeah, not having power over, but to use my power as support
Oh,
and confirmation and allowing, um, yeah, allowing others to be who they are. So it just continually empowers me, and then I get the kind of the response from you, and then that allows me to be and do more. It's a fantastic feeling.
thank you. I want to deeply thank each one of you together this morning, whatever time of day it is now, wherever you are. We made something very beautiful together. We showed and lived this one love. Our love is our power, as the grandmothers say, and that is the very truth of it. And so when this masculine and feminine are in harmony together, then everything flows. So we're going to stop here. I just want to, I don't even think I can express it, how grateful I am to you, but again, I'm going to just let the grandmothers express it. And then we'll say goodbye until next month. And what they're saying so clearly is, oh, how we love you. Oh, how we love you. Oh, how we love you. Oh, how we love you.